Hello, everyone. I'm Dee, and I'm here to guide your Vinyasa flow practice today. And we'll make it a fairly strenuous practice. You can always modify and adjust so that you don't maybe lift quite as high or do as many of a certain pose or motion. Um, Feel free to modify and adjust in any way possible, beginning with finding a comfortable seat on the floor, sitting on both sits bones, maybe using a blanket to prop up or using a block. I think I'll use one myself today. It just gets my hips a little higher, takes a little pressure off the knees for me. Your legs can be in any shape, knees bent as much or as little as you'd like. Go ahead and lengthen through your spine here in a seated position and let your shoulders drop down away from your ears. Lengthen the back of your neck, lifting the crown of your head towards the ceiling. And take a few breaths here. We'll ease into a pranayama. And today, let's do extended exhale breath. It's been a while since I've taught this, I feel like. And it's a great breath for calming yourself down, for regulating your nervous system and bringing a reset into your brain so that your body can relax from tensing up, from whatever might be stressful for you. So this breath is very easy. We'll just extend our exhales a few counts or beats longer than the inhale. And you can begin whenever you're ready, breathing at your own pace, doing your own thing here. But feeling the emptying with each breath. If suddenly you're aware of a thought, a feeling, or an emotion, come back to the rhythm of the breath, extending the exhale, slowing down and smoothing out the breath. Go ahead and set that breath work aside now. Let your body take over your breathing as you begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. And let's now flutter open our eyes. And let's begin loosening up the shoulders. And so what we'll do is draw our left ear and our left shoulder together in the middle. So we'll kind of hunch over this way and then release the ear to the opposite side and lift the left hand and straighten the arm out to the side. And now we'll come back to center. We'll do that again. Left ear to left shoulder. And then we'll release ear opposite and reach arm. Let's come back to center and do the same on the opposite side. So we'll reach right shoulder and ear, and then reach opposite. Scrunching together, stretching away. One more time. Excuse me. We'll come back to center. Now both shoulders come forward. I've moved my elbows forward, but you don't have to. And both shoulders come back. Move the elbows back here. Elbows or shoulders rather forward, elbows and shoulders back. So we're really accentuating the movement of the shoulders forward and then back. Good. Let's now release into a lateral stretch. We'll inhale both arms. The hands come back behind the head. The elbows go out to the side. Exhale to the left, lifting the right elbow. Inhale back to center. Exhale to the right, lifting the left elbow. Inhale, let's do that one more time each side. On the exhale to lower. And on the inhale to lift. Release your arms down by your sides. And let's stretch the legs out in front of us. Let's wiggle the toes a little bit, point and flex the feet. Maybe get the legs moving a little. Do some windshield wipers with the feet. Next, we'll come into a pinwheel shape. We want to bend through both knees, but keep them separate from each other, rocking on as much as we can onto the hip that's lifted. I like to put a block under that hip so that as I straighten my shoulders up over my hips, I've got lots of support back there. And my sits bone can actually be grounded. From here, let's turn towards the forward thigh and let's inhale, lengthening our spine. We can press our hands down into the floor rather to help us lengthen the spine, and then exhale, start to tip over, walk your hands in front of you, maybe release onto your forearms or onto a block on your forearms. You can use the block for your forehead, resting your body all the way down toward this leg. Inhale now, lift your body as you walk your hands towards your hips. And let's go ahead and move out of this position. We'll stretch our legs out in front of us again, wiggling the toes, pointing and flexing the feet, just like before. And then let's rotate the knees to the opposite side, come into that same pinwheel shape, supporting the lifted hip as much as possible and pressing into that hip to get this stretch along this back outside leg. We'll turn our chest towards the forward thigh and we'll inhale, lengthening the spine first. Exhale, release your body forward. I'm going to grab my block so that as I lower, I can have a little cushion, be a little bit away from the floor, have a little more space to breathe. Doing whatever you need to do to be comfortable. Taking another breath here. And then let's come back up to seated by walking the hands toward us, lifting the head, neck, and chest, stretching the legs out back in front of us, wiggling the toes, pointing and flexing. Let's now walk up onto each foot, still pressing sits bones into the floor. Place your feet about hip distance apart and use your hands on your shins to inhale, lengthening your spine. Exhale, release forward, stretch each arm out, maybe even hook your upper arm kind of onto your shin bone or knee, and then release forward, round the spine, tuck the chin to the chest. Take a couple of breaths with this spine lengthening pose. On the next inhale, let's lift our chin slowly away from our chest. Keep lifting our torso and head until we're stacked on top. Let's come up to table from here. Coming onto our hands and knees, maybe using some kind of cushion underneath the knees, making this more comfortable for our bodies. Let's first begin, after we've set up our foundation, with some cat-cows, rounding the spine as we lift the navel, and then arching the spine as we lower the navel. Keep going back and forth at your own pace. And then bring your spine to neutral. From here, let's lift the right hand, placing it right in front of us, right underneath our head, neck, and chest area. We'll press into that right hand, lifting the left arm, inhaling out and up. Exhaling, stay lifted, but draw this left hand across the chest. Fingertips reach over to the right side of the mat. Inhale, swoop and lift. Exhale, swoop and reach. One more time. Swoop and lift. Exhale, let's lower that left shoulder all the way to the floor. Maybe you come on to with your head on a block. A lot of people like to have a block for their left shoulder as well. Let the back of your palm press into the mat. A nice stretch deep in the shoulder here. If you'd like to lift the right, the right hand and place it on the back of the lumbar spine, that's fine, at the sacrum, wherever. You can even do a binding here if you'd like to draw your elbow so that your hand can reach around to the left thigh. Right hand reaching around to the left thigh behind you, really opening that right shoulder. Release now. Let the right hand float back so that you can press up away from the floor. We'll reach that left hand and arm towards the sky one last time, and we'll come back into our table. Let's do some cat-cows here. And we'll come back to neutral. This time, the left hand comes to the center. The right arm on the next inhale swings out and up. And then exhale, stay lifted, but reach the right fingers right across the chest over to the left side of the mat. Inhale at your own pace, swooping out and up again. Reaching, swoop, and reach to the ceiling, swoop, and reach to the side. And the next time you're swooping and reaching to the side, go ahead, let the right shoulder release to the floor. The head as well, or release down onto blocks. Now that left arm can come up and back, maybe bind the left hand with the right thigh. Opening that left shoulder. Noticing a difference here between the right and left side. Seems like it's been a while since I've done thread the needle, so I'm taking advantage. All right, so let's release that left hand. We're going to press it down right in front of us to lift back up. We'll reach that right arm and hand up towards the ceiling one more time. Maybe our gaze follows, and then we'll swoop it back down, coming back into our table. All right, arching the back is very good for us. It can relieve back problems, especially when we're used to rounding or slumping. So go ahead and release onto your belly, coming into Sphinx pose, the elbows shoulder distance apart, and laying on the mat or set on the mat in front of the shoulders, any degree. Go with your back and the sensations that you have and what your normal movement for your spine is when you think about placing your forearms and elbows and hands here. And then release in stillness in this pose. Feel the pressing of the lower part of the body into your mat and the stretching from the hips to the brainstem, all along the spine. Exhale and go ahead and release down into crocodile. Inhale, bring your hands right under your shoulders and inhale again to press back up into table, but not for long. Set yourself up in half plank or plank and take a few breaths here. Working your core, perhaps staying for a shorter period of time, perhaps staying for a longer period of time. And we'll move from plank to upward dog by slowly lowering the hips, flattening the feet, and then we'll go into child's pose. Take a breath here. Inhale, rise up away from your child's pose. Come into half plank or plank again. Take a few breaths here. Relax the hips to the floor. Find your upward facing dog, hands pressing into the mat. Chin, or not chin really, but neck and the crown of the head lifted to the ceiling. Exhale, find your child's pose. One more time. Inhale, find your plank. Stay for perhaps a few more breaths in your half plank or plank. Pressing into the hands, careful with the wrists, finding your way to upward dog, and then finding your way to child's pose. Take a breath here. On your next inhale, lift up to table, curl under your toes, come into downward facing dog. Stretch here and down dog. Take a few breaths to lift and lower your heels, to bend each knee. Press into your right foot on the next inhale, lift the left foot up and back. Exhale, left foot floats down, ball of the foot and toes plant. Inhale, right foot lifts up and back. Let your heel draw the leg up and back. Exhale, release that right foot and stretch in down dog again, lifting and lowering your heels, walking the dog. Perhaps you're drawing your chest towards your thighs, stretching the arms and the shoulders here. Let your gaze now on the next inhale move to your hands and step a foot up and then another foot coming into a forward fold. Bending the knees as much as you'd like, resting the belly on the thighs. Inhale, press down through both feet, lift up through the torso, arms come out and up, overhead, palms touch. Exhale, hands to heart. Take a breath here. Find your way to the top of the mat. Maybe you'll place blocks to your right and left to support you in a sun salutation. Coming into your mountain pose, pressing both feet into the floor, all four corners. Grounded. Inhale, arms out or in front and up overhead. Exhale, nose dive, forward fold. Hands together or apart, knees bent or straight. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, release, step the left foot back. Low lunge or high lunge. And inhale, lifts the chest away from the forward thigh. Maybe lifts one or both arms. Exhale, releases the hands, will come into half plank or plank. Hands pressing into the mat. Now press your toes into the mat. Head comes forward. Exhale, lower knees, hips, chest, and shoulders to the floor. Keep your hands right where they are, planted. Draw your elbows in. Inhale up to cobra. Exhale, release the body, upper body to the floor. Curl under the toes. Inhale, come up through plank or down table into down dog. Stretch in down dog. Just like you did before. And then inhale, lift your gaze to your hands. This time we step the left foot forward, low or high lunge, back knee down or lifted. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, we're going to stay lifted and we're going to press into the forward foot to bring the right foot up next to the left. And then we'll exhale with our hands at heart center. Switching the end up a little bit. Release your hands down by your side. And let's go for the opposite side, our sun salutation. Inhaling, arms out and up. Exhaling, nose dive, forward fold. Inhale, come halfway up. Legs straighten. Exhale, release hands to the floor. This time we step the right foot back. Inhale, we come up into lower high lunge, arms lifted or not. Exhale, release the hands and lower the upper body down towards the mat, coming into plank or half plank. Inhale, press on the toes. Exhale, lower the body to the floor as you flatten the feet. Inhale up to cobra. Exhale to release. Inhale, come up to downward facing dog. Take a breath or two, stretching here. Next inhale, lift the gaze up to the hands. We'll step the right foot forward, low or high lunge as we inhale and lift. If you're on your knee, you can press to lift it and then bring the back foot forward. The left foot comes up to meet the right. Exhale, hands come down by your side. Let's do that one more time. And this time when we get to down dog, Let's make it a three-legged dog. If you want an extra challenge, make your plank a side plank, even if it's a half side plank, okay? All right, inhale, arms come out and up. Exhale, nose dive, forward fold. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, release, step the left foot back. Inhale, low or high lunge. Inhaling arms. Exhale, plank, half plank, side plank, side half plank. And then inhale to lift, exhale to lower and flatten. Inhale to cobra. Exhale, back to crocodile. Inhale, downward facing dog. Maybe table in between there or low plank, half plank, rather. Inhale, bring your gaze to your hands. Step the left foot forward. Lift into a low or high lunge. Let your hands come to your heart as you step that back foot forward, coming into your mountain position once again, releasing the hands. Other side. Last round. All right. Inhale, arms out and up. Exhale, nose dive, forward fold. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, release, step the right foot back. Find your low or high plank, arms lifted or not. Exhale to release. Sorry, low or high lunge was back there. Now we're releasing into a lower high plank. And then chaturanga as you move forward, down, and then back up to cobra. Exhale, release, tuck the toes, find your downward facing dog. Sorry, forgot to cue side plank. You can come into one real quick if you'd like. Perhaps even lowering the knee, coming into a half side plank. Finding your down dog again. And this time, as we inhale and lift our gaze to our hands, the right foot steps forward. Lower high lunge, arms or no. Exhale, hands to the heart. Step that left foot up this time to meet the right. Coming back into your mountain pose. All right, let's do some standing work, balance. And we're going to start with the breath of joy. The breath of joy is 2 breaths. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. First inhale, arms come from by your side, straight out. Exhale, arms come out to a T. First they come down from the front and then swoop out to the sides. Next inhale sends arms down and up. Exhale will slash, kind of karate chop our hands and arms through the air as we come into a forward fold with bent knees, belly resting on the thigh. Inhale, press down through your feet. You can lift up through both or one arms, and then exhale, hands to your side. Let's try that again. Inhale once, exhale. Inhale twice. Exhale, release into your forward fold. Good. Now inhale, come back to standing. If you want to exhale your hands to your heart and then down by your side. One more time, breath of joy. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. This breath really heats you up. Let your arms and legs, let your arms and head is what I meant to say, be all loosey-goosey right here. Let your legs be the pillars of strength, holding you up, lifting your hips towards the ceiling. And then we'll inhale, coming up to a standing mountain position. Exhale, hands come down to the heart. Let's walk the feet out slightly wider than hip distance and turn our toes. Actually, let's not turn our toes. We want our toes in line, with our heels. Let's reach our hands around back behind us, interlace the fingers, maybe bend up through the elbows to do that. Then straighten the arms as much as you can. We're going to inhale, standing up, exhale, let's forward fold and let the hands come up away from the hips. Inhale, press down through both feet. Slowly lift your head, neck, and chest back up to a standing position. Okay? And take a break here. Next, inhale, pause movement. Exhale, release into a forward fold, lift the hands. You can stay here for a breath or inhale, come right back up, flat back, hands still interlaced behind you, but they release back down towards your hips. Let's do that one more time. Inhaling. Sorry, I did the wrong movement. Inhaling to kind of lengthen here. Exhaling, forward fold. Hands lift away from the hips. Inhale, press down through both feet. Lift up with a flat back. Lower the hands towards the hips. And I do the hands towards the hips sooner rather than later so that my back doesn't have as much of my body to lift. Let's walk the feet together. Let's now, standing with our feet hip distance apart, let's begin to swing our arms side to side. Swinging the arms. Let's come back to center. Let's lift both arms over to the right and then exhale, forward fold, but reaching both hands over to the left. One more time, reach out and up to the right, standing, and then exhale, out and down to the left. And then we'll come in on an inhale back up to our mountain position. Let's switch to the opposite side. Both hands on the next inhale, reach out and up to the left. And then we'll exhale, reaching out and down to the right. Inhale, back up. Exhale, back down. Inhale, come back up and come to center. All right. Sometimes I get hair in my face and mouth as I'm teaching yoga, so I'm sure you can relate. All right, now we're gonna draw one hand and arm up, bending the elbow as we release the opposite side. Lateral stretch. Let's come back to center and we'll go the opposite way. And just keep going at your own pace, side to side. Feeling this shoulder stretch and side body stretch, side to side. And we'll come back to center. And let's move into a balanced pose. We'll start with tree. Move it into hand to big toe, and we'll do that a couple of different ways. So we'll stand with our feet hip distance apart in mountain pose. Let's bend the right knee. Left leg is our standing leg. Back right heel is lifted. We can move the foot forward. We can toe tap. We're giving ourselves the challenge of balancing our body first. Then let the toes float down to the floor. We'll open both the knee and the foot out to the side. And we want to feel a nice stretch here in the inner thigh. We can stay here. We can move that right heel in towards the left standing leg. And we can place our foot anywhere but along the knee. So no toes or heel or arch near the or touching the knee. Come into your tree. Grow your branches. As you inhale, reaching your fingertips towards the sky. Maybe coming out of the pose and then setting up a little differently, coming back in. Find the length in your spine. Let your feet be grounded, but let your upper body be lifted. Harder to stay balanced when you're moving. Now let's bring the knee back forward. I still have my foot lifted. I'm going to reach my left hand, pointer and middle, and I'm going to wrap it around the big toe and come into hand to big toe here. Another option is to take same arm and draw the leg and foot out and up, hand to big toe on the same side, using opposite arm over here as your anchor. Releasing, and let's shake each leg and foot. Let's draw circles with each foot and then go in the opposite direction with each foot. Circle. All right, let's come to tree on our opposite side. First, coming to the pose through mountain, then bending the knee, lifting the heel, standing legs on the right this time. We can toe tap. We can get a feel for standing on one leg, then move the knee and the foot out to the side and in possibly, maybe not doing any of those things. Maybe keeping your arms low at your hips or waist, at your heart, anywhere you feel comfortable having them. Find the length in your standing pose here. Heavy from the hips down, lifted from the hips up, belly button up. You can do the cross arm, hand to big toe. You can hold on to things. I happen to have a handle right here. You can do same side, extending the arm and leg out to the side. You can hold on doing that. Changing your position maybe to support and balance yourself. I loved using furniture to support me in difficult poses. And I think sometimes that's the key to gaining strength, because if you can do these hard things holding on, your body eventually gets strong enough for you to do the hard things letting go. All right, releasing out of your hand to big toe. And let's come down to the mat. We'll face the long edge. We're going to come into a high kneel. So I think I'll grab my blanket for this. High kneel. And we're going to come into gate pose. We're going to work on stretching our side bodies one more time. So from a high kneel, let's release the right foot and leg out to the side. We can come on to the inside edge of the foot only, or we can press the outer edge of that right foot out and down to lay it flat, whatever you're comfortable with. Find your aligned position. So shoulders are still above the hips in that one knee. We'll relax, same side arm, free hand inhales and lifts. And exhale as we release, keeping this upper hand high. Maybe bending the elbow to let the weight of this arm open this side of the body. Let's exhale. We're going to float this hand down, sink our palm to the mat, and we'll inhale the top hand, perhaps inhale this leg up, and then exhale, release, draw the knee in, push the hand down to lift you up off the floor, and we'll switch our gait to the opposite side. Find a comfortable position here. Start with your foundation. Same arm relaxes, inhale. Free hand goes out and up, exhale. Release over. And then inhale to come back up. Let this hand anchor. Right arm releases. Left arm, perhaps left leg lifts. Exhale, releasing both. Maybe drawing the knee in at the same time. Pushing yourself up off that right hand. And let's now face with our high kneel the top of our mat. We can even adjust our blanket here real quick. We're headed to pigeon pose. So come to table, walk your hands, two handprints forward, and let's start on the right side, drawing the right knee up to the right wrist. Let's cinch or release back and down the hips, and that left foot reaches out, the toes reach out back behind you. That right heel can come over to the left side or stay on the right side. And we can take a few breaths lifted here in our pigeon. Lengthening through the crown of the head. Stretching the torso part of the body. And then exhale, come down onto forearms. If you'd like, stay lifted if you'd like that position. Lowering still all the way to the floor. Into sleeping pigeon if you'd like. And taking a breath or two. Let the next inhale lift you back up to your table. We'll draw that right knee underneath us. And let's rock the hips from left to right. Let's bring our big toes together, widen our knees, sink your hips back toward your heels, reach your arms ahead of you overhead, and exhale, lowering your upper body to the floor. Relax here in for a few breaths here in child pose. Excuse me. Inhale, lifting back up to your table. Knees walk together, toes come back, hip distance apart. Hands walk two handprints forward. This time, left knee reaches up towards that left wrist. The right foot lowers both hips as that foot reaches down and back. Maybe you stick a block under a hip here too, by the way. We'll stay lifted at first, chin in its neutral spot, reaching through the crown of the head, lengthening through the back of the neck. Maybe using the block under the hands if that helps. It is kind of nice. As you're ready, releasing to the resting pigeon if you'd like. No pressure, you can stay where you are. And as you're ready, releasing all the way to the floor. If you'd like, picking what works for your body and setting the rest aside. Next, we'll inhale, coming back up to our table. And let's make our way onto our spines, supine. I'm going to go ahead and put the blanket behind my head. And let's do about 10 minutes of a cool down here. First, coming into corpse pose or just any comfortable resting pose for your body. Checking in with how your body fared through doing the standing exercises and poses and the balancing. And now, with the legs either straight or the knees bent, it doesn't matter. Inhale both arms back and back, rather behind the head for a half body stretch here. Tuck the chin slightly and reach the fingertips back behind you, pressing all four corners of each foot to the floor. Let's now bring our hands straight up over our head and let's lift our feet up off the floor. Then straightening the legs as much as we'd like. Lifting the soles of the feet as much as we can towards the ceiling, pressing the sacrum into the floor back behind us. Using our core here as we breathe. Now, as we exhale, let's bend the knees, bring the heels to knee height. Knees are over hips. Arms go out and back behind the head. We'll bring them back together on the next inhale. So we're in staff pose here, reclined staff. And then exhale, bend the knees, draw the arms up over your head. Let's do this a few more times with your breath. From staff pose to kind of a seated pose with arms up over your head. Now let your feet float down to the floor. Draw your arms by your side. And let's come into seed pose, drawing both knees into the chest, wrapping your arms around your legs. Next inhale, lift your head, neck, and chest toward your, so nose to knees. Rounding out the spine here, exhaling to release head to the floor, releasing feet to the floor. Let's inhale and begin windshield wiperings, drawing the arms out to the side. Exhale to release the knees. Inhale to lift them back to center. Exhale, let's turn our chin to the opposite side of the knees. Inhale back to center. Keep going back and forth here. Windshield wipers with the head movement. Nice. And the next time your knees are lifted back to center, chin back to center, drop your knees to the opposite side and come into a twist where you're still, arms wide like wings, palms facing down, anchoring the top part of your body. Shoulder opposite of your knees, anchored to the floor. Chin over to that side, even if it's comfortable. 2 to 3 more breaths here. On the next breath in, bring your chin back to center first. Use your core muscles to lift your knees up away from the floor, and we'll rotate into our twist in the opposite direction. Exhale, knees float down, chin turns, arms anchor, palms down. Opposite shoulder from the knees, grounded into the floor. Breathing. Two to three more breaths. Your next inhale, bring your chin back up to neutral first. Then draw your knees using your core back up over your feet. Let's throw our arms by our side and let's move just our pelvis, just tilting the pelvis, rocking it back and forth for a couple moments here, arching and then rounding with full support of the floor in places all along our spine, our neck, where our spine moves into our hips. And then we'll bring our pelvis to neutral. Let's take 5 to 10 to 15 breaths in student choice. So maybe you do knee circles, maybe you'll do something else that your body's calling you to do. A yoga walk, a wide angle V with the legs, whatever you'd like. Take 2 to 3 more breaths. And then begin to find your way into a shape that works for you for your Shavasana. Letting the body relax and release fully. Closing down the eyes. Perhaps still exploring to find a 100% comfortable position for your body. And only you knows how to find that place. Start to let your breathing slow down. Start to smooth out the transitions in the breath. Perhaps adding a pause where you're neither breathing in nor breathing out. Finding yourself relaxing more and more deeply, giving the mind the opportunity to always come back to the breath once it's wandered and we notice. Perhaps using extended exhales here. Once again, allowing the body to reset. The nervous system becoming more calm. And now gently, let's rock our head from side to side, moving slowly, letting ourselves slowly wake up, slowly move, letting the brain still focus on the breath. And now we'll lift our chin to the center. Let's roll over onto one side. Let's take a breath here, stacked shoulders and hips. Just letting the body relax here for a moment first. One more breath. And now on the next inhale, we'll press down with our top hand. We can lengthen our top leg and press down to lift up, coming into a comfortable seated position. Sits bones pressing into the floor, legs in any comfortable shape. Best to have them as neutral as possible so they can relax. Inhale, lifting the crown of your head to the ceiling. Relax your arms by your sides on the exhale. Inhale, last sun breath, arms come out and up. Hands come together. Exhale, Anjali Mudra. Let's close down our eyes. Exhale, tucking our chin towards our chest to bow to the divine within us. The light in me honors the light in each of you. Let your next inhale lift your chin up to neutral. You can open your eyes, slowly blinking them open, release your hands. Thank you so much for joining Stretch and I for a yoga class today. And I hope you have a good week and see you next time. Take care.